Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel, and welcome to another episode of the Chill Pill Podcast, coming to you live here from YouTube. Possibly now we're on Podbean. I've been trying to, for a while now, see about doing this podcast on a actual podcast service, see how it goes. So if all goes well, this should be the very first episode available on Podbean. There will be archives from episodes 1 through 7 going up on Podbean very soon. If not, then episode 9 will definitely be up on Podbean. And the plan is to migrate this show off of YouTube and to Podbean or possibly another service. So, that being said, how would I say this? So, I won't be doing full episodes of the Chill Pill Podcast on YouTube anymore, but there will be clips from Chill Pill Podcast still available on YouTube. So for all of you who listen to this, just let you know, it's linked in the description down below. Pretty sure it's going to be in the comment section as well. Go to those links and go follow the podcast on whatever platform we're on. Go support it, leave a comment, give it 5 stars, all that good stuff. That being said, it's been a few weeks since my last episode of the Chill Pill Podcast. We have a lot to talk about. Nothing really to review here, but a lot of stuff to talk about regarding NXT, Stardom, New Japan, WWE NXT, WWE in general, AEW. It's got a lot going on this week. First things first, I've been gone for about a good 5 days on YouTube. I don't really take days off from YouTube that often. Like maybe every few months, I take a few days off. But rarely, if ever, do I take off 5 days to a week. Because I'm a machine, man. I just like to keep going. And whenever I do that, it's normally because I just want to, cleanse my brain and just, want to, take a little break. I don't really do that off too often. So, I took 5 days off. Good to see you're all still here after that. You guys are awesome. I have also been working on my W2K19 series, Map-Based Combat. If you guys do not know, I work on a series. I used to call Map-Based Combat, where I would basically render matches in WWE 2K19 with my created wrestlers. And I am finishing that series up. We are approaching our last 4 episodes of the entire series. Won't be doing any more episodes of Map-Based Combat. Our planned dates for the final shows, which is Wrestle Kingdom Night 1 and 2, was supposed to take place on the actual Wrestle Kingdom, but I was a bit busy. So now I'm kind of back in the mix of things. The plan is to end the series on April the 4th and April the 5th. So hopefully I will see you all there. I put a lot of my time, heart, and soul into these matches and characters, so we'd love to see you all there to watch it out, because it's some great shit. Anyway, that being said, enough of my plugging. Let's get straight into the wrestling news. So the first thing we're going to be talking about here on the Chill Pill Podcast is WWE NXT. So NXT's latest signing is the Joshi wrestler Sareee. Now, if you guys may or may not know Sareee, I can tell you for a fact I have only seen one of her matches. I believe it was her match against Meiko Satomura. No, 2. It was Meiko Satomura, and she had a match against Takumi Iroha. So the only reason I would even say I knew who Sareee was because I just started getting into Stardom. And Stardom had a match announced about a month or 2 ago that was going to be Mayu Iwatani versus Sareee for the World of Stardom Championship. And it was going to be at the Korakuen Hall show, I believe, earlier this month. Now, Sareee came down with the flu and had to pull out of the match literally last minute the day before. And they worked really fast to get a replacement, and the replacement was Takumi Iroha. I thought it was a great match. I plan on doing another top 9 matches of the month, and best believe Mayu Iwatani versus Takumi Iroha will be in that top 9 list, because that was just a great match. I recommend, if you guys have not seen it, go do yourself a favor and go watch that match. I'm sure it would have been great if Sareee was in it too, but I thought the two killed it, and that's kind of how I heard about Sareee, where I was hearing through the grapevine that she signed with NXT, and now it's official. We got the picture of her and Triple H. She's wearing the WrestleMania t-shirt. She's packing her bags, moved to America. We don't know exactly if she's going to be joining that NXT brand or an NXT UK brand. We can all safely assume it's going to be NXT. That's where TB is. That's where the main focus is. So she's gonna be joining the crew down in Full Sail very, very soon. Congrats to her. I was making a bit of a joke that they're snatching up all the favorite Joshis. She is the 4th Joshi wrestler WWE has signed in the last few years. The other 3 being Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Io Shirai. And she could possibly be replacing one of them, and that being Kairi Sane, who, rumor has it, her contract is up next month. Kairi Sane did sign with the company in March of 2017, and I believe she signed a 3-year deal, which means her contract will be up in March of 2017. March of 2020. And she hasn't showed any signs of re-signing. How about that? Anyway, so Kairi Sane also in news, which, I normally don't talk too much about this stuff, or do I care about it, but Kairi Sane just got married this past week. No word on who it is. It's none of our business. She doesn't want it to be our business, so I'm not gonna get into who it could be or what. I don't care that much. But basically, she made a nice, heartwarming post about how they've been in a long-distance relationship since the beginning of their journey, and she's always knew she wanted to spend her life with him. And well, Detective Tyler says Kairi Sane started her wrestling career in 2011, assuming she met her boyfriend in Japan, and they've been in a long-distance relationship since. Why would she marry a man who she's not going to see every day? You know what? You know what I mean? If she's going to marry this man that she's been in a I'm sorry, but if I'm in a long distance relationship, I'm not even thinking about marriage until I know for a fact we're going to be together physically. So I don't see Kairi Sane marrying someone who she's not going to see every day or wake up next to every day. And if this man lives in Japan, then she's going back to Japan. And I'll talk about Io Shirai in a bit, but I don't see this scenario unless Kairi Sane's boyfriend lives in America and we're all just being misled here. I don't see a scenario where Kairi Sane's going to resign and just, keep her husband at a distance. She's going to move back to Japan and probably going to return to Stardom, which I am not opposed to. Not at all. Not at all. Put some more eyes on Stardom, and that's a good thing. We also get into Io Shirai, who's also been a topic as of late of someone who might be leaving WWE soon. Now, Io Shirai signed a year after Kairi, which means her contract won't come up until next year, if I'm correct. So we don't got much to worry about in that sense. But she is currently engaged to New Japan Pro Wrestler Evil. So take that into account. And if Io Shirai and Evil get married sometime soon, I don't think that Io Shirai would re-sign with the company. Like, what person is going to want to live away from their spouse? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I firmly believe, since Kairi got married, and I think her husband probably lives in Japan, she's going to move back to Japan with her husband. And if Io and Evil get married, Io will move back to Japan to be with Evil, because I don't see Evil moving to the States. So I think in due time, both Kairi and Io Shirai will be gone from WWE. As far as Asuka, I don't see her leaving. I don't get the sense that she's leaving. She seems pretty comfortable where she is. But I do think that it's only a matter of time before we see Kairi Sane and Io Shirai back in Stardom. I don't think they're going anywhere else in Japan, but back to their home states, back to their home countries, back to their home companies. So congratulations to Sareee. She'll be filling up the shoes of Kairi Sane very soon. But on the topic of Stardom, we also have to talk about Stardom's latest shows being canceled amidst the uproar in the coronavirus. You guys all heard about it. It's nationwide news. This damn near plague-like thing going around called the coronavirus that kind of started in China and started eking its way to different countries. I mean, there's some cases here in America, which is just fucking scary, but it's made its way to Japan, and thankfully I got out of Japan before it made its way into Tokyo, but it's made its way to the US too, so you never know. That being said, a week ago Stardom put out a statement regarding the rise in the coronavirus in Japan, primarily the Tokyo area. To protect their talent and staff, they went ahead and canceled 8 shows that they had coming up. That is some serious shit. They canceled 8 shows that they had planned. One of those shows being in Nagoya. That's supposed to happen yesterday on February 23rd. It was supposed to hold a World of Stardom Championship match between Io Shirai, Mayu Iwatani, and Jungle Kyona. And now that's being rescheduled for another day. And it just shows how crazy this virus is getting, is that they want to protect their talent. And I commend them for wanting to protect their talent and staff. But it shows just how out of hand things are getting. New Japan's also talking about they're not doing any more meet and greets until the virus dies down. There's a cure found. So they're taking serious precaution, these Japanese companies are. And I don't blame them at all. However, Stardom from this is holding a show called the No People Gate, which I think is a funny name for your show. It will be a show consisting of no people in attendance. There will be no audience. However, this is one of the first few Stardom shows that will have Japanese commentary on, which will be interesting because I don't ever remember Stardom having a show with Japanese commentary. Now, I've only been watching Stardom for the last, 6 months. I haven't seen every single episode of Stardom or every single show Stardom's held, so they might have had Japanese commentary in the past, but as of late, it's always been no commentary. And some people love that, some people don't like it. For the people who like Japanese commentary or just commentary, they're going to get what you want. Not only that, but it will be live streamed on YouTube at March 8th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, that date sounds pretty noteworthy to you guys because that is the date of WWE Elimination Chamber. Now, for many of you who don't watch Stardom or don't care about Stardom, I highly doubt any of you are going to care to watch this show, but to many wrestling fans, this is a big deal. Stardom never, ever, 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 ever live streams Stardom content. It's always, VOD content. So, live streaming on YouTube is a good thing. Now, my hoping is that this show does good numbers for them. It does business for them. Because what that will do is, that might open the company's eyes into possibly live streaming on YouTube more often. We see companies like Impact Wrestling who seem to make a profit off of live streaming on Twitch. So, there is a possibility Stardom might consider live streaming on YouTube. And I don't necessarily think they will. Especially with YouTube's copyright laws and all the things that they got going on right now. YouTube is kind of a hard live stream platform to break into. But it's not impossible. And I do think that this is a potential opportunity for Stardom to make moves in the States. It's more easily accessible for people to watch Stardom on YouTube than it is through Stardom World. I can recall when I tried to sign up for Stardom World like a few months ago, I literally had to call my bank to tell them, hey, I'm putting my account into a Japanese account because every time I tried to sign up for Stardom World, my account immediately blocked it and it would not sign me up. I had to call TD Bank and tell them, hey, I'm trying to do this, and then they still wouldn't. They're like, are you sure we don't trust the service? It's saying da 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 da, and I'm like, it's the actual website. Put it this way, it was hard for me to sign up for Stardom World, so I'm assuming it's probably hard for a lot of people who live in Japan to sign up for Stardom World. The more easily accessible, the better. If they're going to be with Bushi Road and they want to expand into the States, and I'm not saying they're going to go to a whole New Japan World of America tour. I don't see that happening. I'm still waiting for them to announce their show in Tampa, the cowards. Announce your damn Tampa show. If they want to break into the American market, YouTube is the way to do it. That being said, their No People Gate show will be on March 8th, and I do have the match card, and I'll give my predictions for it since I'm here. We have a Royal Rumble-like formatted Battle Royal. No names are announced for this match. I'm going to assume any names not on this card are going to be in that Battle Royal. So that should be good. I'm rooting for our Tam Nakano to win because she's awesome. Next match we have here is a team of Jungle Kyona and Hana Kimura versus Julia and Maika. For the first time ever, I saw a picture on Twitter of Maika smiling. That made me happy. Totally unrelated, but still. This is a tag team match between two teams in TCS, Tokyo Cyber Squad, and Donna Del Mondo. They've had a little bit of feud going on, especially with Hana Kimura and Julia. I think it's going to end with Donna Del Mondo winning this match. They just won the Artist of Stardom Championships not too long ago. I think they're going to keep the momentum going with these two, and as well as Sareee. So I'm going to go with Julia and Micah to win this match. We also have B. Priestley, or B. Priestoli, and Jamie Hayter going up against Momo Watanabe and Utami Hayashishita for the Goddess of Stardom Championships. As you guys may guess, the Tag Team Championships. Jamie Hayter and B. Priestley just won these titles not too long ago as well. I don't see them losing it this soon. As much as I think the team of Momo Watanabe and Utami Hayashishita would be a nice reign for them, and they would make a really good tag team, I think that B. Priestley and Jamie Hayter are going to win this match. I am excited for Jamie Hayter and Utami to go at it, because I think they're going to have some really good matching in the ring. Next match up here is for the Wonder of Stardom Championship. The white belt is on the line as Arisa Hoshiki defends her title for the 11th time. Not the 11th time against a certain person, but her 11th defense. Let me reword it that way. Against Natsuko Tora. Natsuko Tora has become the new leader of Oedo Tai. That being said, they're going to be pushing her pretty heavy very soon. I think this might be the start of that with this championship match. I don't think she's going to win it, though. I think Arisa is going to retain her title. I don't know who she loses it to, and I don't think she should lose to anybody right now because she's on a hot streak. She might struggle a bit because Natsuko Tora is like almost twice her size, but I think that Arisa Hoshiki retains the Wonder of Stardom Championship. And then in the main event, we have Mayu Iwatani versus Saki Kashima in a non-title Lumberjill match. When Mayu Iwatani and Saki Kashima had their little interaction at the last big show they had, I think it was the show where she faced Takumi Iroha, February 8th was the show. Saki Kashima came out after the match to challenge Mayu Iwatani for the Wonder World of Stardom Championship. And Mayu was like, no, you're not worthy. And Saki was kind of like, oh, alright, I guess. So that's kind of where this is stemming from. I'll be honest, I don't really care for this match. I'm glad it's not a title match because Saki definitely didn't deserve it. I can see why Mayu declined her. But, non-title Lumberjill match, members of Stars and Oedo Tai will be ringside. I think Mayu Iwatani wins. I don't think for a second that Saki's going to just beat Mayu. I just don't see that happening. I mean, Takumi beat Mayu, so Takumi should be getting a title shot sometime near future. And Jungle has not gotten her title shot at all yet. So I don't think Saki's going to win this match. I go with Mayu to retain. And that's my predictions for the match, for the No People Gate. Now, you guys probably wondering, Tyler, will you be reviewing, will you be live streaming during this show? I don't think so. I'm currently planning to go to Elimination Chamber. Tyler going to a WWE? Not my choice. Not my choice. My little sister has been asking me for the longest time. Can we go to Elimination Chamber? Can we go to Elimination Chamber? I haven't been to a WWE pay-per-view yet. I want to go to I'm like, yeah. So I'm trying to be a good big brother and take her out to Elimination Chamber. So if that's the case, then I won't be watching this show until after Elimination Chamber. If I don't go to Elimination Chamber, I'll let you guys know about this. But as of right now, there will just be a review up when this show is over. Hopping off Stardom, we get into Performance Center news for WWE. WWE is possibly going to be making an announcement concerning a Performance Center in Japan. Yes, guys, the Triple H NXT Monopoly expansion continues. As Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Newsletter reports that we should be expecting an announcement of NXT Japan sometime this summer. Now, we've been hearing about this for years now. Triple H's plans to have PCs in Japan, Italy, Latin America, India, among the like. Now he's getting one step closer to killing the indies all over the world with the inevitable launch of NXT Japan. The perfect remedy to give wrestling fans an outlet not to watch other Japanese products. Because you know that's what they're going to say. Why watch New Japan when I can watch NXT Japan? You gotta love it. You love to see it. Anyway, now earlier last year, Triple H tried to acquire Stardom until they got snatched up by Bushiroad. Then, he tried to acquire Noah until they got snatched up by Cyber Agent. So both of his plans have failed so far, but he is still persistent. You gotta love the persistency of Triple H. Reportedly, he's in talks with Hiroshi Hayes, a former wrestler for New Japan Pro Wrestling and now a Japanese politician. And he's also been in talks with Antonio Inoki, who I'm sure you all know as the founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling, which might strike fear into the hearts of NJPW fans, as he's in talks with not only 2 lead guys, but one of the founders of New Japan Pro Wrestling. But fear not. Bushiroad, if they're not willing to sell Stardom, I don't think they're going to lay in bed with NXT. I don't see them laying down with dogs. However, it seems imminent more than ever we're getting a Japanese expansion of NXT no matter what, with rumored trainers such as Daisuke Sekimoto and Meiko Satomura. This being the case, which companies are going to lie in bed with NXT? We saw Triple H not only kill the UK Indies in my opinion, but then plant his flag on their territory with NXT UK. But will he be able to do the same with Japan? I think he'll try, but he'll never actually take over Japan. Lots of these companies just seem to have too much pride to just, lay down for these American promotions, you know what I mean? at the end of the day, WWE is the biggest show in town, but to Japan, that's an American promotion. They're coming on a different territory trying to take over, so I don't think Japan is just going to lie down for them. However, if there are 2 companies I can see possibly joining under that NXT Japan banner, I think it will be Pro Wrestling 01 and Sendai Girls. Now, Sendai Girls is ran by Meiko Satomura, who has a relationship with Triple H and NXT. She's done Mae Young Classic both times. No, she did one Mae Young Classic. She's done a few matches in NXT. I could possibly see her doing a deal with NXT Japan, and we get some of the Joshis down in NXT Japan. Pro Wrestling 01 is just a hot guess for me. I don't know why, it's just a guess. But we'll see in due time. I'm not really all that excited about it. I have my fair share of Japanese companies I plan on watching. If NXT Japan is announced, I will check out maybe the first few shows, see what's going on. I'll definitely have my eyes on it. But as far as covering it, I don't know. I don't know about all that. I don't know. I like my New Japan, and that's competition for them. Like these Japanese companies, like All Japan and Pro Wrestling 01 and Noah and Dragon Gate and Big Japan, you don't get the sense that they're competing against each other. A lot of the times you see these companies pairing with each other, whether it be for memorial shows or joint show. It seems like they're all in this together. Like High School Musical. We're all in this together. Come to America, you have AEW and NXT going at each other's necks. Here in Japan, they're joining hands with each other. But wait until NXT comes in the fold. Then everything's going to start shifting into different gears. So it might be an interesting time to be a Japanese wrestling fan. Who knows? Who knows? But getting back into NXT here, we have Charlotte Flair returning back to NXT. Now, it is official. We are getting Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the NXT Championship, NXT Women's Championship. This will be the first time ever the NXT Women's Championship will be defended at WrestleMania. One question I do have before I talk about this Charlotte Flair-Bianca Belair match is, are we going to see, and my coworker asked me this the other day. Now, I already was talking about it with somebody else. My coworker, who just started getting to NXT, asked me this. He was like, well, if Charlotte's wrestling Rhea Ripley, are we going to see the NXT Championship defended at WrestleMania as well? I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, if you had the Women's Championship defended, why would you not have the Men's Championship defended? You know what I mean? I feel like that would just make sense. I'm not saying if it doesn't happen, I'll be pissed or anything. I don't think anyone's going to be pissed if the NXT Championship isn't defended. Because you guys got to remember, NXT TakeOver Tampa is the day before. Do I see a scenario where Rhea Ripley defends the title at Tampa, then WrestleMania? Most likely. I mean, Rhea Ripley did compete in a TakeOver War Games match, as well as Mia Yim and Tegan Nox, and then they fought in Survivor Series literally the day after. So I could definitely see her pulling double duty. So would they do the same for the NXT Championship? Likely, yes. North American Championship, I don't know about that. Maybe if Keith Lee stole the champion, possibly. Maybe they could do champion versus champion, Keith Lee versus Adam Cole. That'd be a good match. We'll see. I firmly believe Charlotte Flair will beat Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I don't want to see it. I don't think any of you really want to see that, but I think it's going to happen. We're just waiting for the inevitable at this point. But Charlotte Flair will be returning to NXT for the first time in 6 years to take on Bianca Belair on her home territory. Bianca Belair cannot lose to Charlotte Flair. I'm sorry. She just can't. Bianca Belair is one, I would say, the top 2 women they have in NXT right now, besides from Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair comes in here and just beats her. First day in, first day back, just beats Bianca Belair. Like, that makes her look like a punk. I know you got to build up Charlotte Flair. I understand that, but you could build her up on Raw and SmackDown. You got to come down there and beat all your NXT talent, too. She could do that after the fact. She don't got to do that right now. So, maybe they have Bianca Belair beat Charlotte Flair, and that could set forth a potential triple threat at WrestleMania. Now, a lot of people are in favor of that. Some people are definitely not in favor of that. Some people want a one-on-one match. I could see that happening. I see Bianca Belair being inserted into it. If not, you could do Bianca Belair going to main roster soon. I don't want to see her go to main roster, but possibly. There's avenues you could take because of this match, after this match. But I think Bianca should win. Not going to hold my breath on it. I think Charlotte will win. I just want Bianca to win. But I put up a post in my community page with a picture of the match and a caption saying, AEW said, we got Pac versus Kenny Omega, 30 minutes. NXT said, you what, mate? And you guys really let your opinions fly on that one. Majority of the comments were like, we're still watching AEW. Which I thought was... Let's read some of these comments that some of you guys left here. There will be no live stream this week. I will be working this Wednesday. But I will be doing respective reviews for both NXT and AEW. One of the first comments is from External Shockwave that says, hard pass, I'm going with AEW always. That has 13 likes. Probably the most likes I ever got on a community page post. 13 likes that got. Robert Bond says, hard pass, I'm going to AEW. But good luck, Bianca. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Jordan Williams says, I'm still going with Pac versus Omega. The Shiflet01 says, this is supposed to lure me from AEW. I wouldn't tune in for Charlotte Flair if AEW wasn't even on. Right on, right on. Prince Rockstar says, I'm going with AEW. Andreas Skoglund says, I'm looking forward to this match. 2 amazing talents. So he's like indifferent. Maybe leaning more towards NXT. That's our first NXT guy so far. Sean Harrington says, yeah, I'll be watching AEW this week. Charlotte Flair is not a draw for me to watch NXT, especially when all likelihood Belair loses to the one who doesn't even go here. Right on, right on. Robert Kent says, let's think. Omega versus Pac, both entertaining wrestlers and will further story. Bianca versus an overpushed scrub. Bianca is great. 2 people to see one versus to see one-on-one to make me turn the channel. I'm going with AEW. Mesquite Ali says, LOL, you're really comparing this to Pac versus Omega? I was trolling, by the way. Dimitri Brooks says, Pac versus Omega clearly here. Jacob C says, Pac versus Omega will be better work rate wise, but I don't know. I'm very excited for Charlotte to work without the burdens of Raw and SmackDown put on a match. She'll be able to work without restrictions. And Wendy Williams Grant says NXT. So there's like 3 NXT chants. Everything else is pro AEW. So if my community proves nothing else, that is that you could have sent someone else down to NXT. You could have sent Sasha down to NXT, who's not doing anything except for recording shows for Mandalorian. You could have sent Naomi down to NXT. You could have sent a lot of people down to NXT. But you sent down the one person who does not need to benefit from winning the NXT Championship. Look at me. I'm getting the habit of saying the NXT Championship and not the Women's Championship. God damn it, SJWs. Did it again. Anyway, you could put a bow on it. You could spray cologne on it. But at the end of the day, Charlotte Flair was never wanted in NXT in 2020. Charlotte Flair is not needed in NXT in 2020. And the day she wins the championship, I think you might shy away some of your viewers from that. There's already a good portion of fans who don't like Charlotte Flair, like me. I respect her wrestling. I think she's one of the greatest pound-for-pound women's wrestlers to ever walk the earth. I think she's just great. She's amazing, and it's undeniable. She will be a Hall of Famer one day. However, she has had so many accolades in such a short period of time, it's easy to just be like, I don't feel like watching this. I already know she's going to win. So, when I see this match, I'm like, yeah, Bianca's obviously losing this match. It's going to be great, but there's no doubt in my mind who's winning this match. And when you get to that point, you really don't have any interest in what they have to do. So I can totally see why a lot of my viewers and fans and subscribers and even people who don't watch my content are just like, I'll just watch AEW. Completely 100% see why. Not even a doubt. But then let's also get into debate about why AEW is still beating NXT every single week in the ratings. This week in the Wednesday Night Wars, AEW Dynamite drew 893,000 viewers. NXT drew 794,000 viewers. This is now the 8th straight week, 2 months in a row, that AEW has beaten NXT in the ratings for those of you who actually follow this. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I do follow the ratings. I'm not a ratings monger. I'm not sitting here every second of the day wondering who's gonna win what. I see Brian Alvarez posted on Twitter and I'm like, that's interesting. That's cool. But it's really interesting to see that on a day where 20 million people were watching Democratic debates, which is obviously going to happen. But even with that in mind, AEW for 8 straight weeks is beating NXT. And we can argue that AEW Dynamite hasn't been great every single week of the 8 weeks. NXT has been great all the 8 weeks. But I can remember maybe like 1 or 2 weeks where I thought, I think NXT was better this week. And even then it didn't beat AEW. They've been highs and lows and rise and falls, but they never seem to top Dynamite, no matter what they do. Even with Charlotte Flair on NXT 2 weeks ago, they still did not beat Dynamite. So, the answer now is, what else do they do? What else do they do? So here's my little synopsis on this. So yes, AEW is still relatively new. It's been around for a year. It's been a company for a year, but they've only been running TV for going on 6 months very soon. But it seems like the product knows exactly what stories they're going to tell and how to execute them in a way that keeps fans interested, something that WWE seems to lack nowadays. NXT gives us great wrestling, and most weeks, work rate wise, better than AEW. I think NXT has at least one great match, one really good match, or maybe even one banger every single week. Every week, the matches are really good. I can't think of a week where the matches were like, well, this was a bleh week of NXT. I have never had that scenario happen so far. But how many storylines are they running right now? And how many do you actually care about in comparison to AEW? Off the top of my head, I can think about a few storylines AEW is doing that I like right now. Cody versus MJF is one of the top ones. Chris Jericho versus Jon Moxley, they're running that. Really, Jon Moxley versus all the Inner Circle. They're doing a storyline with Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara right now that I'm really into. They're doing a storyline with Britt Baker and her heel work. They're developing Riho and Nyla Rose might be going back at it very soon. Nyla Rose has won a championship. Not really a feud, but something to pay attention to. They got the storyline of Hangman Page and Kenny Omega intertwined with the Young Bucks and where that's going. There's a lot to think about. There's a lot to watch in AEW right now. If you don't like one storyline, there's like 3 others going on that you could easily get into. With NXT, the only storyline I really can honestly tell you that I'm invested in is Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai. And that's most likely because that's a long-term story. That story's been being told since Dakota Kai returned from NXT back in September. That's a good 5 months right there of storytelling. So that's why I'm invested in it. But I think every single NXT Championship feud Adam Cole has had so far has not really intrigued me all that much. The NXT North American Championship matches, they've been good, but they're not really like eye-catching. The NXT Women's Division is really probably the most capsulating thing about NXT, in my opinion at least. You guys can debate down below what's your favorite part of NXT, but every single week, it seems like unless the guy wrestling in a ring is named Angel Garza, I really seem to gravitate my attention more towards the women. AEW will always benefit from developing stars that aren't yet established fully, which immerses a crowd's full attention because they feel like I've been a part of this since the beginning, so I'm going to see it out. But it's also easy to fuck that up. And so far, they haven't yet. And I don't hope they do. But until they start fucking up, or until NXT gives us a storyline that is just so eye-catching that fans have no choice but to tune into NXT or AEW for, which just has not been the case at all, AEW will keep winning the Wednesday Night Wars, and the streak will continue. That's just how it's going to be. Let's get into another thing regarding AEW. In a recent interview with 11 Alive, Cody was asked about the future of AEW in 5 years. This coming off the news about a month or two ago that AEW has signed an extended deal with TNT throughout the year of 2023. So 3 extra years on the deal for AEW Dynamite. Cody replied with, in 5 years, who knows? If we had a random storm situation or something popped up and we had to put Dynamite on Monday night, if that was to happen in this current threshold, I'd still be very confident in what we can do. So Cody didn't outright say, hey, we're moving to Monday nights, nor is he insinuating that. He's basically just saying, well, I think in a few years, if a scenario played out where we could move to Monday nights, I think we'll do just fine. Basically alluding to possibly competing with Monday Night Raw in a few years. So I don't think AEW's heading to Monday. No, it's not heading to Monday nights. I don't think AEW will ever go to Monday nights, at least for another few years. We're not a few months out the way. We're not a year. I think it's going to be a long time before you see AEW Monday night. And I don't even think that's 100%, positioned. AEW could just stay on Wednesday night for the rest of their run, and I wouldn't be mad. Like they don't have to compete with Monday Night Raw. There's just this scenario that fans want to see so badly to recreate the days of Raw versus WCW, the Monday Night Wars. That's what fans want to see. So that's their fascination, and Cody's playing into it a little bit. He's toying around with the idea, but this is not confirmation of anything. So don't read too much into this. But if the scenario were to play out, and AEW in 2023 moved to Monday Night Raw, what would the landscape look like? Who would be in AEW? Who would be in WWE? And what would ratings for Raw look like in 3 years? I mean, honest to God, with the ratings they have now, probably lower than what it is now. I wouldn't be shocked if they ever dip below 2 million viewers and go to 1. Because the content over there never seems to improve. If they ever go to 1 million, AEW is well within the right to say that, hey, we can compete with these guys. At 2 million right now, yeah, no, AEW would not stand a chance in hell. They would lose every week, hands down. But 3 years from now, after they've been established, and they have a core audience, and they have a set number of people who want to watch every single week, because right now the set number seems to be 700,000. And that will only grow from here on, or possibly go lower, depending on the company content and their exposure, but that's only going to grow in my opinion. But from here on, I think AEW will flourish. If they flourish, they could compete with Raw. They don't have to, they don't need to, but they could. They are also getting their own toys. I saw their action figures online. That looks pretty cool for anyone who collects action figures. I stopped playing with my action figures a long time ago. I don't really collect, but for a lot of you, I'm sure you're really excited for that. And it just shows you how big the company is getting, that they got their own action figures that are going to be sold in stores very soon. This is really our number 2 right now. This is officially our number 2. Matt Hardy is leaving WWE. We know this. Matt Hardy's been doing promos on Twitter over the last few weeks, building up his return to the broken Matt Hardy character. The character that basically got him over like 5 years ago at Impact Wrestling. And when he went to WWE, fans wanted to see it super badly. But I think he was stuck in a bit of a tie-up with Impact. They wouldn't let him use the character, and then they came to terms. And then when he used the character, it was kind of too late. But it seems like he's going to try and resurge that character once he leaves WWE. His contract is up in pretty much like 2 weeks. Matt Hardy is done with WWE in March of 2020. Next month, he'll be done. He was written off of television 2 weeks ago, honestly, with the concerto spot from Randy Orton. But they decided to bring him back again last week on Raw, so he could have his head caved in again. I don't see why they need to do it twice, but, it happens. So Matt Hardy is gone from WWE television, and so too the rumors of him going to AEW. And I'm sure you're asking me, Tyler, do you think Matt Hardy is going to AEW? As we get closer and closer to the deal, I think he will. I'm not Matt Hardy. I don't speak for him. and I'm not going to tell him what's best for him. But at this stage in his career, I think it would be an absolute waste of time to stay in WWE for the next few years. To do what? Exactly. Relive the glory days for a 7th time with Jeff? Hard pass on that. I think Matt Hardy knows that time is done. It's long gone. No one cares about the Hardy Boys anymore. I mean, not that no one cares, but no one cares to see Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy as a tag team. They want to see Matt Hardy in a different role. They want to see Matt Hardy somewhere else. Arguably with Jeff, if he can manage to not keep getting drunk and driving behind the road. Maybe see him somewhere else too. Rumors are circulating that he could be the leader of the Dark Order, the Exalted One. It could very well be Matt Hardy. I think there is a very possible scenario where in a few weeks, not at Revolution because that's before March, but in a few weeks, Matt Hardy could return with the broken gimmick, but as the Exalted One in AEW Dynamite. And that will get some views. That segment, that debut for Matt Hardy as the Exalted One, that would get some people watching. I don't think it's going to carry 1 million people over to WWE. Matt Hardy's not going to be a rating shifter for AEW. But it could get some attention for them that they could possibly need. Now, they do have a running angle right now over the last few months with the Dark Order, and they've been alluding to Christopher Daniels being the leader. Every week we see Christopher Daniels coming out to fight off the Dark Order or fend them off or going to the back during a promo or something. It just seems too obvious to me and everyone else that it's Christopher Daniels. Almost to the point where it can't be Christopher Daniels. It's like painting a picture on a transparent canvas. Literally everyone else on the other side can see exactly what you're painting. So unless it's a swerve, I don't think the fans are going to take too kindly to Christopher Daniels being the Exalted One. So it almost has to be somebody else. And that person could be Matt Hardy. Or could be somebody else. AEW posted an all-black image to their Twitter earlier today with the caption, "Everybody lives, everybody dies, the Exalted One is near, the Exalted One arrives." Bars. Anyway, now this could be sheer coincidence that they could be using the phrase, "Everybody dies," a slogan used often by one Lance Archer, who is also rumored to be in talks with AEW. Lance Archer, being a former IWGP United States champion, facing Jon Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom 14 and losing the title there to Jon Moxley. Lance Archer had, I believe, one of the best runs in G1 Climax last year. And that run from that entire G1 put him on the map for me as a hot talent that any company could acquire. So I think this is either a swerve or plan B. And I mean that in a sense that maybe they want you all to think that it's Lance Archer and it's actually Matt Hardy. But plan B in the sense that if Matt Hardy doesn't sign, let's say Matt Hardy resigns with WWE, which would be fucking stupid. But let's say Matt Hardy does resign with WWE and he isn't the Exalted One. Well, it could very well be Lance Archer. Because everybody dies, right? Would Lance Archer fit in the role as the Exalted One? Honestly and truly, he doesn't strike me as somebody as the leader of a cult. It doesn't seem like him. He always seems like the second-hand guy, not the leader. But I think maybe he got some acting skills that I don't know about. I don't see Lance Archer on the mic too much, talking about anything else except for everybody dies. So I think maybe he's good on the mic. Maybe he could be good in the role as the leader. Who knows? I don't want to put it past him. And even if he isn't, that would be a great signing for them. You know what else could be the case? It could be Luke Harper. It could be Brody Lee. Brody Lee doesn't strike me as a leader either. I mean, now this all stems from the fact that he's been Luke Harper, basically the bodyguard of Bray Wyatt for like years. So I've seen him in that role for so long, I don't see him in any other role up until he starts to prove me wrong, which I'm sure he will. But it could be Brody Lee, whose contract is also coming up next month. It could be either of those three guys, or it could be Christopher Daniels. Who do I think it is? Most likely, I think it's going to be Matt Hardy. Now, we could also see a scenario where they sign Matt Hardy and Lance Archer and Brody Lee. And they have Matt Hardy and Lance Archer coming together as members of the Dark Order. Matt Hardy as the Exalted One and Lance Archer as the second in command. Brody he could do his own thing. I don't think he needs to be involved in this. But I can also see a scenario where we see Matt Hardy and Lance Archer together. That would be dope. That will make for some interesting television. Former WWE star and former New Japan star teaming up together as the Exalted One and the second in command as leaders of the Dark Order. I tune in to watch Statue over NXT any day of the week. Also on the topic of AEW Revolution is this Saturday. I will be watching that. I can't wait. I'm pretty excited. I plan to live stream it, so stay tuned to this channel for it. I don't know exactly what the full card looks like because it's not Wednesday yet, but I have a good idea. So I'm going to do an early preview for AEW Revolution. So on the radar, which means that it's not official and they haven't really announced anything regarding this match yet, we could see Nyla Rose defend her AEW Women's Championship against 3 wrestlers. Riho, Chris Statlander, or Big Swole, or maybe a Fatal 4-Way. That wouldn't be too bad of an idea to do. But I think one of those 3 will face Nyla Rose at AEW Revolution. I think either way she's going to retain. She just beat Riho for it. She's not going to lose it right away. I think Nyla Rose will retain against either Riho, Chris Statlander, or Big Swole. I don't see a scenario where we don't get a women's championship at all. That just opens up room for criticism, and I don't think AEW needs that right now. While this match also has not been confirmed yet, we are heading towards a match between Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara at AEW Revolution. Darby Allin has done the cue cards, basically challenging him to a match at Revolution, so it's got to happen. Whether the pre-show or main show, it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a really good match. I'm really excited for it. Darby Allin made his return to AEW Dynamite a few weeks ago, and I thought it was a really big pop from the crowd. It popped the hell out of me, and that's a good sign. That means they have made a star. Maybe not fully, but I think they definitely have a future star in their hands on Darby Allin. And if they're smart to put Darby Allin over here. So I think Darby Allin wins this match. And if they do a second and if they I'm a child, I'm sorry. And if they do go ahead with an AEW secondary title, I think Darby Allin will make a good first champion. Just saying. We are also getting Dustin Rhodes versus Jake Hager. They had a feud dating back to a month or 2 ago where Jake Hager smashed Dustin Rhodes' arm into a limousine, and that kind of has been the pit of their anger amongst each other. This is Jake Hager's first wrestling match since Lucha Underground, I believe. And this is also his first match in AEW. Dustin Rhodes could pull a banger out of Jake Hager, or it could be a snooze fest. I think go either way, honestly. I'm going to go with Jake Hager win this match, though, no matter what. We also have the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Hangman Page for the AEW Tag Team Championships. I'm most excited for this match, really, than I think any other match on the show. Maybe second. But nonetheless, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page have been having their fair share of grievances and also their fair share of happiness with each other. The Young Bucks have seemed to be intertwined with this. You know, they're best friends with Kenny Omega. Hangman Page feeling laughed out. Hangman Page feeling left out at times, you know, and just basically the fourth wheel in this situation, or the third wheel in the triangle going on there. And one could say that Hangman Page might be gearing up for a heel turn very soon. I think Hangman Page is more over now than he's ever been in his entire career. Honestly, truly, I don't see a scenario where I don't think they have to turn him heel. I'm not saying don't turn him heel at all. I think it should happen at some point. But right now, I don't think they need to. I think if Hangman Page and Kenny Omega defeat the Young Bucks this weekend, there shouldn't be a turn. I think you let it play out a little bit longer. Maybe you do it on a Dynamite. I mean, why do you have to do a Revolution? Why now? He's getting cheers every week. The people love the drinking beer. They love everything about Hangman Page. I think it would be stupid, honestly, in my opinion, it would be stupid to turn him heel right now. If I'm AEW, I'm not turning him heel until probably April. Maybe when it dies down a little bit, then you turn him heel. But at the peak of his overness, is overness a word? At the peak of him being the most over with the crowd, I don't think turning him heel makes a lot of sense to me. I'm going to go with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page to retain the AEW Tag Team Championships, and I don't think Hangman Page turns heel here. I think we drag it out a little bit. Because think about it. let's say they do want to build up to Hangman Page versus Kenny Omega at AEW Double or Nothing 2. All right, let's say they do that match at Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing is in May. That is March. That is 3 months from now. You mean to tell me you got 3 months of story you could build up to with Kenny Omega and Hangman Page? That's like what, 12 dynamites you gotta save. I don't know. Nah, I wait till April to do that. We also have Cody versus MJF, a match that have a lot of long-term storytelling built up from it. This is a match that I think could possibly be a match of the year worthy. Cody has seemed to really become this workhorse for AEW. He's been putting his body on the line for almost every match he's in, whether it be getting a almost permanent fucking scar on his face for a match, or leaping off a 20-foot damn cell and almost breaking his toe. Cody seems to be able to want to do everything and anything to not only get himself over, but the company as well with his matches. And I can't fault him for it. I cannot be mad at Cody for wanting to do the above and beyond to get people to want to watch his matches and want to watch and get invested in the company. MJF is one of the top heels, if not the top heel, not the top, that's your Chris Jericho. One of the top heels in AEW right now, and could be a top heel in AEW very soon. So this makes all the sense. A top babyface versus one of the top heels. It's tough to say who wins. Cody lost to Chris Jericho at the last pay-per-view, so he's not going to be able to compete for the AEW Championship ever. Allegedly. Ever. Does Cody have a comeback story here by beating MJF? I don't think MJF loses anything from losing to Cody. MJF isn't buried for losing to Cody. And Cody obviously isn't buried from losing to MJF. So it can go either way. But I think that Cody will beat MJF at Revolution. I don't necessarily think MJF needs to beat Cody. So I think Cody is going to beat MJF. Then we get to the main event of the evening. Chris Jericho versus Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship. Two former WWE champions battling it out for the company's top gold. It's one of the marquee matches of AEW right now. Two guys who work New Japan, Jon Moxley more regularly than Chris Jericho. But these guys got it going on for them. It's been a career resurgence for both men in the last year. And I think this is going to be another really good match. It could shift gears in either direction. I could see Chris Jericho winning, or I could see Jon Moxley winning. This one's a little bit harder to call than the other two matches I was just talking about here. But I am going to go with Jon Moxley to defeat Chris Jericho and become the new AEW champion. Chris Jericho has had a good reign as champion. I don't think he needs to be a super long reign as champion. He's the first champion. The first champion doesn't necessarily need to have a 15-year long reign. So I think Jon Moxley beats Chris Jericho here, and we get a good run with Moxley. And I think eventually the person to take the title from Moxley will be MJF. And that is AEW. Let's now talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. They just got finished their New Japan Road Tour, well, at least their televised New Japan Road Tour. We had a few noteworthy things coming out of this show. Chaos, the faction led by Kazuchika Okada, seems to be back feuding with LIJ, the faction led by Tetsuya Naito. Which worries me a lot. Because we just got off of Tetsuya Naito defeating Kazuchika Okada not even a whole 2 months ago for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and is now a double champion. We all know the rematch is coming, but I don't think it should be this damn soon. If we're getting a Chaos and LIJ feud now, that means one thing to me. They're building back up Naito and Okada. And I don't want to see Naito and Okada right now. We just saw it. I don't want to see it again. Because last time that scenario played out, Okada beats Naito for the Heavyweight Championship. And I don't want to see Okada beat Naito for the Heavyweight Championship. I don't want to see Okada with the title for the rest of the fucking year, honestly. If I had it my way. But it's not going to go my way. And I think that's what we're building up to. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Munabu Nakanishi retired on his final show on February 23rd, which was yesterday. It was a good send-off. I knocked Nakanishi a lot in my earlier New Japan reviews. I called him, I talked about how slow in the ring he was, but yeah, he was broken. He was a bit broken down from his from his last bangers he had earlier in his career. And he slowed down over time, but Nakanishi is a GOAT. He's a GOAT. He's a legend. So hats off to him. Hopefully he has a very happy retirement alongside Monster Man. Roppongi 3K managed to successfully defend their junior heavyweight tag team championships against Rocky Romero and Ryusuke Taguchi. I thought that was a really good match that the two teams had. Roppongi 3K going into BOSJ in possibly 3 months as the tag team champions is really interesting to me. But I just want a singles run with Sho and Yo. Is that too much to ask, New Japan? That's all I want. We also had LIJ's Shingo Takagi, Evil, and Bushi retain their never openweight 6-man tag team championships against Ryusuke Taguchi, who pulled double duty in his 2 title matches, Toriano, and Colt Cabana. That was really a hit or miss match. It was alright. Shingo Takagi, Shingo 2 belts, defended his never openweight championship against Tomohiro Ishii. That was a banger, as you would guess Ishii and Shingo would have. Shingo has just been killing it ever since he came into New Japan. The guy has been one of the top reasons to watch New Japan, if for nothing else. But the most noteworthy thing coming out of this New Japan Road 2 tour is that Kota Ibushi and Hiroshi Tanahashi, the Golden Aces, managed to defeat the Gorillas of Destiny to become the new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. And it was a glorious moment to see Kota Ibushi and Hiroshi Tanahashi standing tall with each other as tag team champions. A team that really was kind of makeshifted on New Year Dash earlier this year. We all know, or maybe you forgot. I wouldn't be surprised if you forgot. But Finn Juice did win the titles from God at Wrestle Kingdom and only held the title for 28 days, only to be beaten by Gorillas of Destiny for the tag titles. And this seemingly was all to put the titles on Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi. Now, from what I can see from the scenario that just played out here, it seems like they put the titles on God to put them on Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi. I honestly think they could have just kept the titles on Juice Finn, or Finn Juice, and they could have had them drop to Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi. But I guess they don't like babyface versus babyface tag team matches. I thought that would have been fine, personally. I'm not going to complain too much because now we've had, not only have we had Finn Juice as tag team champions, which means they're an established tag team in the heavyweight division, but now we have a new team in Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi as a tag team in the heavyweight division. One of the most dead things, one of the most boring things about New Japan is their heavyweight tag division. It's dry as hell. It's dry as the Sahara with God and Evil and Sonata. So putting in a dose of Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi to tear it up, Finn Juice to tear it up, maybe mix just some other tag teams if you have some, that's a good way to get fan investment back in a very much undesirable tag division they have. And then also after the match, they were attacked by ZSJ and Taichi, the Dangerous Techers. ZSJ, who's feuding with Jon Moxley, so he's got a full plate on him. And Taichi look to be the next challengers for the tag titles. That's another tag team in the heavyweight division. So New Japan is definitely restacking their heavyweight tag division, and I'm pretty happy about that because they desperately needed it. And I can't wait for Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi versus ZSJ and Taichi. Even if we gotta sit through Tanahashi and ZSJ locking up with each other, which I hate, but I can't wait for this because it's something new, it's something different, and I can't complain about different. Something that seems different to a lot of people and not different to me is Shingo Takagi once in on the New Japan Cup. He had an interview with some of the reporters, some of the media team in Japan, and he stated that he wants to be in New Japan Cup this year, declaring he wants to be in it. Same way he declared he wanted to be in G1 Climax. Could he win it? Possibly. Now, New Japan Cup is a 13-day single elimination tournament, very much straightforward, and always have some of the most forgotten bangers of the year. I can name a few from last year that were really good. The most notable being Tomohiro versus Taichi. That fucked so hard. Hiroki Goto versus Minoru Suzuki was really good. Tanahashi versus ZSJ was really good. Though I don't like him all that much, Sonata versus Tanahashi was also really good from last year. Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. was really good from last year. There's Okada and Ishii was awesome. there's always a good crop of matches you get in a New Japan Cup that not a lot of people talk about. And as you would guess, your boy will be reviewing the entire New Japan Cup. So tune into the channel for all that coverage. I'm going to give my early New Japan Cup predictions. Assuming we get a 24-man tournament. 24, then 16. Wait, no. That'd be 32. I can't do math now. 32, then 16, then 8, then 4, then 2. If we go all the way to 4 and get to the semifinals, I predict that semifinals will come down to Kazuchika Okada, Sanada, Shingo Takagi, and Jon Moxley. All 4 of those men will make it to the semifinals. Who they beat, I don't really care, but they'll make it to the semifinals of the New Japan Cup. I believe we'll get 2 matchups in the semifinals. Sanada versus Shingo Takagi, and Jon Moxley versus Kazuchika Okada. 2 different, 2 new, 2 fresh matchups that no one would complain about and everybody would want to see, especially Jon Moxley versus Okada. You would have a lot of US fans that would garner to watch Okada and Moxley go at each other. And I know it's doable. Even if Jon Moxley beats Chris Jericho at AEW Revolution to become the AEW World Champion, it is very doable because this tournament does not require you to be there every single day. This is a 13-day tournament, which means that Jon Moxley, all he has to do is show up for the first round match, the second round match, the quarterfinal match, and a semifinal match. That's all he has to do, and he'll be a part of the tournament. I think it's doable. I think AEW can go maybe 1 or 2 weeks without the world champion. Chris Jericho has been on television, I believe, every week. He might have missed 1 week, but I think Jon Moxley can do 1 week off of television, and they'll be just fine. They won't go down 500,000 viewers. They'll be fine. So I believe we get Jon Moxley and Okada, Sanada, Shingo. Who wins? As much as I want to believe and as much as I would like to see Jon Moxley beat Okada, I think that Kazuchika Okada defeats Jon Moxley. And I believe that Sanada will beat Shingo Takagi. And we will get Sanada versus Kazuchika Okada in the main event of New Japan Cup 2020. Now, as you guys know, I fucking hate Sanada Okada matches. They're the most boring thing in the entire world, and I can never sit through their matches. But storytelling-wise, it makes a lot of sense to go back to this match. Sanada has managed to make it to the semifinals of the New Japan Cup for 2 years in a row. And he made it to the finals last year against Okada, where he lost. Then he went on to face Okada at Wrestling Dantaku, and lost him there. Then he faced Okada in the G1 Climax. He beat him. People thought it was amazing for some reason. Then he faced Okada in King of Pro Wrestling, and he lost the Heavyweight Championship match. So, if we're continuing the ensemble of long, drawn-out Sanada Okada matches, this will be the next time they're due to face off again. And if it's going to happen, I believe that Sanada should beat Okada. It would make a lot of sense to do Okada versus Tetsuya Naito Sakura Genesis, yes. But it also makes sense to have Sanada versus Tetsuya Naito. If we're coming off what looks to be a Naito versus LIJ type of storyline he's going through right now. He's facing Hiromu at New Japan Anniversary Show. Why not do Tetsuya Naito versus Sanada at Sakura Genesis? I mean, I would believe Sanada might beat Naito more than I believe he beat Okada. And think about it. He beat the guy he can never beat in order to get to Naito. It makes sense. And if you want to even go above and beyond, which I don't think is going to happen, but if you want to go above and beyond, Sanada wins New Japan Cup. Naito comes out. They stare down, then Evil comes out as well. And he challenges Naito for the IC Championship on the same night. And then we get a scenario where we get Tetsuya Naito versus Evil for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, and Tetsuya Naito versus Sanada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It forces Naito to do double duty against 2 of the guys of his faction. It would be interesting. It would be I can't think of many words, but it would just be I would be down for that. I'm not a huge Sanada fan, but I'd be down for that scenario. Do I think it'll happen? That exact scenario, no. Should it happen? I think it should. We'll see what happens, though. But I predict Sanada wins New Japan Cup 2020, just like all of you keep saying. Tyler, Sanada's gonna win, and listen. I didn't want to believe it, But I've come to terms that Sonata might win New Japan Cup this year. And if Okada wins, then I'm not going to be surprised. But I hope Sonata wins. And finally, I got a question. I put in a community page, hey guys, I'm recording an episode of the Chill Pill Podcast. Ask me questions or drop me topics to talk about. We had 10 likes and 3 comments. I love it when people like and don't comment. But we have 1 comment from Meme Willard, who asked, I don't know if you've ever done this, but make your own company. Get certain wrestlers from WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Stardom, Impact, wherever, and just have a show. I like this. It intrigued me. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to create my own company. I'm going to create my own company, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose 5 male wrestlers from WWE, WWE NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW, Stardom, and the Indies, etc. That could be NWA, Impact, whatever. And then I'll choose 3 women from each company, not including Stardom because they'll get 5. So I'll have in total 17 women and 25 men. So, putting my company together here, who do I sign? Now, of course, all people I'm about to sign here are not free agents, so let's just spend believability right out the bat. It don't matter if they sign, I'm recruiting them because my dollar is top dollar. Alright? Anyway, so let's start off with the Indies and etc. First 5 men I'm signing are Christian Casanova. I think he is a swift, upcoming, talented black wrestler, and I would love to have him in my company as one of my top guys. Alex Zane. He's currently doing a few shows for New Japan Pro Wrestling's American Tour. He's awesome. And if you're into high flying, he's the guy to look at. Shane Mercer. Guys, you might not know about, but he works in GCW quite often. He's a really big guy who can do some crazy athletic things. Whether it be flying, whether it be throwing people over. Think about Brian Cage, but possibly better. That's Shane Mercer. 4th man be El Lindaman. I can tell out how awesome and how intriguing I found El Lindaman at Double or Nothing. When I went to AEW Double or Nothing, the one guy who I had my eye on the entire 6-man tag match between SCU and the T-Hawks or the Strong Hearts was El Lindaman. And ever since then, I've been following this guy. I would recruit him. So Lindemann is my 4th, and my 5th man is David Starr. David Starr is an amazing talent. I'm sure you all have heard of him. He's just awesome, man. David Starr is the shit. So I'm going to go with David Starr. So those are my 5 indie, etc. wrestlers I would sign. My 3 female wrestlers I would sign would be Melina from NWA, Kylie Ray, who's currently, I believe, a freelancer, and Jordan Grace. I believe all 3 of those women are immensely talented, especially Melina. I grew up on Melina, so I have a bit of a bias, but I think they're all incredibly talented, and I would love to recruit them to my roster. So those are the first 8 to the Tyler Women's promotion there. Let's hop up with a Stardom. Now, Stardom has no men in their company, so I'm just recruiting 5 women. The first, as you guys will guess, is Arisa Hoshiki, because she's awesome and she's my favorite. The second is Tam Nakano, because she's one of the best female storytellers in all of professional wrestling. The third is Momo Watanabe. The 4th is Azumi. And the 5th is Mayu Iwatani. So that's all 5 from Stardom. All great, phenomenal women who would do great in any company, no matter where they are. Then we get to WWE. Now, I'm just going to do WWE's main roster of Raw and SmackDown. This is a combination of both, not 5 from Raw, not 5 from SmackDown. It's a combination of both, choosing 5 from a combination of both brands. First person I'm recruiting is Andrade. Andrade has always been one of my favorites. I had a debate on whether I wanted to choose him or Mustafa Ali, and I think there's a little bit more marketability in Andrade. I love you, Mustafa. I love you. But if I had a 6-man, it'd be Mustafa. But I'm going to go with Andrade for the first. The second would be Drew McIntyre. He's awesome. He's made in WrestleMania. I've always been a big fan of Drew McIntyre since he returned to NXT. So I'm all down to have Drew on my team. The third is not Shorty G. Fuck that gimmick. It would be Chad Gable. Because if they're not going to do him right, I'll do him right. The 4th is Cesaro. I've always always been a fan of Cesaro. And the company seems to never want to do anything special with him, so I'll do something special with him. I'll take Cesaro. And the fifth man I'm taking is Daniel Bryan. One of the best wrestlers in the world, and has been one of the best wrestlers in the world for the last 10 years. And I believe he'll take my company to great heights with his immensely great storytelling. And, you know, you want to be a backstage producer? You want to produce some matches? You can do that too. For the women, first one I'm taking is Becky Lynch, the man. You know, I don't think she's necessarily the best women's wrestler in terms of work rates, but in terms of character, she's a must. The second is Naomi, who I believe is still one of the pound for pound best female wrestlers in WWE today. No matter how badly they push her or how little they feature her, I think she's just an awesome talent. And the third is Sasha Banks. I was debating between Sasha and Charlotte. I don't need Charlotte. Sasha is fine with me. Next, we move on to NXT. The 5 men are recruited from NXT. First will be Matt Riddle. I've been a big bro since 2017, and it's going to stay that way. The second is Angel Garza, who I've really taken a liking to since he came into NXT. And he's gonna stay in my brain, man. It's just gonna be. The third is Isaiah Swerve Scott. The fourth is Keith Lee. And the fifth is Velveteen Dream, because all 3 of the guys just listed, yes, they're black, but they're also amazing talents. And I think they would do great in my company. For the women, Bianca Belair will be first, Io Shirai second, and Rhea Ripley will be third. For New Japan Pro Wrestling, who have no women, 5 men. First is Kota Ibushi. I'm sure none of you were really surprised by that. Now, I'll be the first to say, this one was the hardest. After Kota Ibushi, I struggled, because I love most of the New Japan roster. Like, New Japan has probably the best roster anybody can have in terms of work rates. Not counting NXT, they are the best roster out there. So having to choose 5 out of the plethora of guys I like was really hard. But I narrowed it down to 4 of these guys. The second being Hiroshi Tanahashi. Because if anyone is going to be an ace, if anyone could be a star in my company, it's going to be Tanahashi. The third is Will Ospreay. Because he's impressed me so much in the last 2 years, it's undeniable that he will go great in any promotion. The fourth is Sho Tanaka, who I've had my eye on for the longest time, and I would definitely push him to the moon if he were to come to my company. And the fifth is Hiromu Takahashi, who would do great in any division I put him in, but the junior division would be a great place for him to carry. Last but not least, AEW. First man I'm recruiting is Chris Jericho. He's the GOAT. He's just going no matter what. The second is Kenny Omega. And I'm telling Kenny Omega, cut the best bout machine shit. You're going back to the cleaner. You're going back to those 5 stars in Japan, boy. We ain't doing that AEW shit here. The third is Rey Fenix. The fourth will be Jungle Boy. And the fifth will be MJF. All 5 of those men would tear it up. And as for the women, Hikaru Shida, Nyla Rose, and Sadie Gibbs will be my 3 picks for AEW. And looking at my full roster, we have Isaiah Swerve Scott, Matt Riddle, Cesaro, Hiromu Takahashi, Velveteen Dream, Christian Casanova, Kota Ibushi, Shane Mercer, Chris Jericho, Sho, David Starr, Drew McIntyre, Angel Garza, Keith Lee, Chad Gable, Will Ospreay, Andrade, El Lindemann, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Rey Fenix, MJF, Alex Zane, Kenny Omega, and Daniel Bryan. Tell me I don't have a decade worth of great matches just with those men alone. I dare you to challenge me on that. And then for the women, we have Sadie Gibbs, Tam Nakano, Io Shirai, Arisa Hoshiki, Naomi, Kylie Ray, Melina, Hikaru Shida, Jordan Grace, Becky Lynch, Momo Tanabe, Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks, Mayu Iwatani, Nyla Rose, Bianca Belair, and Azumi. If I don't have the greatest roster in existence, I don't know who does. Watch out, NXT. I mean, they might try to monopolize me. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, that is Chill Pill Podcast episode 8. What do you guys think? Comment down below. Let your boy know. hit that like button on YouTube. There's an applause button right next to it. If you want to hit it, hit it. Also, if you listen to this on Podbean, do yourself a favor and give this 5 stars. I love you guys always, and I will see you all next time for Chill Pill Podcast episode 9. Peace out, guys.